Hey everyone, well I am back on the road and on my way back to Washington, D.C. I want to wish you all a happy Monday, and I want to just give you all the lowdown on what is going on with federal funding, the budget fight, and a potential government shutdown, because it is looking like we are going to have a shutdown. Now I want to explain to you all exactly why this is likely, what the consequences are for our communities, for our country, for our economy, and for federal workers, and why the mechanics at this point are basically not in favor of keeping the government open. And that's because of this. I'm here at the airport, I'm in transit, I'm on my way back to Washington, D.C., and for anyone out there who's ever traveled to our nation's capital, you know that if you live somewhere that's far away, whether it's the Intermountain West, it's the West Coast, it's Alaska, Hawaii, it can take an entire day to get there. And tomorrow at midnight is the end of the fiscal year. And the president and the Republican-controlled Congress have not passed a budget. And not only have they not passed a budget, they have refused to negotiate. The speaker canceled votes today and tomorrow. And then he told his members not to travel to Washington, D.C. That's right. So House Democrats and Senate Democrats all over the country are currently in transit on their way to Washington, D.C. to try to avert a government shutdown. And the Republicans are nowhere to be found. They're not even en route. They're not even on their way. They're not showing up for work. And so while the president has suddenly 180'd on holding a meeting with leadership today, this afternoon, there's no reversal in their position. They are still planning for and wanting a shutdown, where they would have called their members back, because just the logistics, just the common sense logistics would say, if you were trying to negotiate a bipartisan deal to keep the government open, to save healthcare, and to protect the American people, you would have your members en route to show up to vote. But they're not. In fact, they were told to stay home. So we're on our way to go do our jobs. Now, I want to explain why a shutdown is bad and how it will hurt our communities and our economy. A shutdown is where federal services that have a lapse in funding get shut down. We know that the OMB director, on top of that, has said that not only will federal workers get furloughed, but he is going to use this as a pretext to conduct mass firings of federal workers. This is just like they tried with DOGE. At the beginning of this administration, it was found to be unlawful over and over again. The courts ordered them to rehire federal workers. In fact, just this last week, a whole tranche of federal workers were rehired after they were fired the first time. And now this guy, who literally is the architect of Project 2025, is talking about doing it again during a shutdown. This is what they want. They are trying to execute a shutdown. They are planning to use it as a pretext for Project 2025. And frankly, the president has been so preoccupied with trying to threaten members of Congress to keep the Epstein files from being released, so preoccupied with bullying universities and media conglomerates and members of the public, so busy directing his political appointees to go after his enemies, that he hasn't even managed to do his most constitutional duty, which is to keep the government open and functional. Now, this is not good. This is not good for the American people. It's not good for the economy. And of course, it will be catastrophic for literally hundreds of thousands of Americans who are federal workers and their families. So we want you all to know that we are on our way back to Washington, D.C. to fight the good fight, to do what we can, to negotiate in good faith, and to help support everyone out there who may be impacted by this shutdown. But that's what's going on, and it's important that all of you have the facts and that you know what is really happening. So I'm gonna go get on this plane. I will see you all in Washington, D.C. We will keep you up to date. This is gonna be minute by minute, hour by hour over the next 48 hours, and I am sending you all so much love. Happy Monday, everyone.